Hi and welcome to this Virgo inspired reading for August 2025. This reading is also a reading that you can use at any time. You don't have to be watching this only for August. If it's inspiring for you, then that's what it is. So I am working with the symbolism of the tarot cards and the symbolism of Western astrology to uncover new layers of consciousness, maybe find a new perspective on a situation, maybe find some inspiration. I'm not telling you your future, of course. You are the master of your life and not astrology or the tarot. I use this as a creative tool for self-reflection. So let's see what the cards want to say and what wants to come out. Virgo is taking their time. Oh, Six of Pentacles. I like to see that. We have an Earth card, which is already in the element of Virgo, which is Earth sign, obviously. So we do have a Six of Pentacles that is really saying we want to think maybe about balancing out our resources and make sure that we have an equal give and take. Maybe we've accomplished a situation where we feel like, yes, this makes a lot of sense. I'm giving that much to a situation, to a person, to an environment, to a job, to a project, and I feel like I have a fair balance of what I'm getting back. This is also somehow about hierarchies. This card, you can see this man holding or giving to these two beggars on the ground, but it's fair for everybody. So he is still on top of the hierarchy, but at the same time everybody is content with this situation. Maybe you're working with more people, maybe you have to give your resources to more people, but it's all balanced out and it's all just and fair, as we can see here with the scales in this card. So maybe we are having a good balanced situation when it comes to giving and taking. Or at least, if that's not the case, we want to establish that. We want to think more about how we can achieve that type of situation. But if it's up right here, the center of the reading, it seems like you have established a good situation that works. Queen of Wands, very nice. Also Leo card, and we do have the sun going into Leo today, actually, while I'm doing these readings. So the Queen of Wands is really thinking about timing for me. The Queen of Wands is, of course, a goal-getter. She is a very high achievement type of person. She gets what she wants. She is also very attractive, the hot queen, if you want to call it like that. And she is like a very emancipated and a very open and strong queen. So she gets what she wants. She has the wand in her hand. And for me, the difference between the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands is always timing. She doesn't just act for the sake of acting. She knows exactly when to act and how to act. So that's kind of a little bit of the difference here. Maybe we are now really looking at what we want out of certain situations more than we normally do, because for the Queen of Wands, it's also, of course, about the ego and also stepping into ourselves more and maybe putting ourselves first more, and at the same time we're making things happen. So the Queen of Wands here with the Six of Pentacles is just like a combination where I feel like it could be about we want to get more out of things as well, or we want to also not put ourselves too much on the back end of a situation. And we want to be a little more demanding. Ooh, the Strength card again in the Leo reading also. And we have again, of course, with the Sun in Leo right now, a lot of emphasis on the self and how we want to really step into our full light, into the spotlight, how we also step into our passions. And this is here in the subconscious position. And it gives us a lot of drive. It gives us a lot of passion to really move long term and to also control this more animalistic, instinctive energies within us, and to move forward with those energies on a long-term level. That's why she has this infinity sign above her head, because she is able to control the force and use the force within her in a more long-term type of way. So wow, okay, this is really us also stepping into our passions and driving forward through our passions, or with our passions, or inspired by our passions. And the Queen of Wands and the Strength card are very similar in a sense, because we also have a cat here on the Queen of Wands card, and of course we have a very big cat here, the Strength card, and both are speaking about Leo and the Sun in a sense, or fire energy. So we have a lot of passion, a lot of fire here, to also be creative, to move forward, and I think also to work with people. And stay balanced and not overgive, overdo, overwork, but stay consistent and balanced with how much we invest into a situation or a person. So what we are leaving behind, or what we are bringing into the situation with us from the past, is the Three of Pentacles. And the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, especially as it wanted to come out, is maybe also the realization that we cannot work with everybody. We are really figuring out who we can work with, how we also take responsibilities when it comes to work, when it comes to effort, and how we maybe also have learned that we cannot, with some people, you just cannot make them work with you. Maybe it's not the right dynamic. That's what's, for me, getting through here strongly when it comes to Three of Pentacles in the reverse. And we found a much better place here. It seems like also we might have had to step up into a more conscientious position, which is for a Virgo not necessarily a problem, to take responsibility when it comes to work, when it comes to the things we need to do on a daily basis. But we might have also learned that we have to kind of take the lead if we want to drive our passions forward. And the Queen of Wands is a leader personality. I mean, she is a leadership card for sure. Love it. Okay. Oh, 2 cards, higher self. Look at that. I am not kidding you. That is why I am the art of tarot. That's just my catchphrase. I know it's silly, but higher consciousness. Look at that. We do have the Ace of Wands and the King of Wands in the reverse. So what are we really looking at here is how to integrate, I think, a healthy drive forward, a healthy ego, which is all Leo and which is all the Sun in Leo, and not operate out of a more toxic or lack place or controlling place or angry even place, or a survival type of mechanism place. This is beautiful. Look at that. So we are also kind of taking, I think, too much masculine type driven energy out of the picture, or we want to take it out of the picture. That's why we have the Queen of Wands here, who is about the timing, as I mentioned. And I think this is really about exactly the thing that I was mentioning before, that we don't want to just act for the sake of acting, but we want to act out of a sense of meaning and passion and fulfillment and excitement and fun and creativity. That's all the wands. So we just don't want to do things to accomplish. We want to do things also to experience, and that is, I think, the type of energy that we are having here, or the question that we are asking ourselves, how to not fall into the trap of running after, you know, accomplishments and the dopamine trap, or what have you. So wow, okay, this is really, really cool. I like this combination. Maybe you guys want to look up the Leo reading for sure, because there's so much Leo connection here, and maybe even where Leo is in your birth chart, because that would be probably very, very interesting, in what area of your life astrology suggests that this is a topic. So let's see where we're moving into with this. The Fool, this is, you need to really watch. I mean, you don't need to do anything, but you should watch the Leo reading, because we had the Fool as well also in the Leo reading, and we are moving into all the possibilities. I feel like this is a moment where we realize how many possibilities we actually have, that we can really open ourselves up to a new way of experiencing things in a lighter, more fun, more open, more more free. The Fool is freedom, a more free way. So we really want to call in with the Fool all the possibilities. We want to also imagine things in our mind. We want to really tap into our imaginations and open up boundaries, open up borders within us, and be open to the adventure as well. And be open to the knowledge, or instrumentalizing the knowledge, that we can really do whatever we want if we just do it. And if we don't do it out of this space of lack, or of I need to be seen, accomplished for other people, or for some lack within myself. But no, I want to do things just for the fun of it, and for the joy of it, and for the experience. So this is very beautiful, very, very beautiful. And the Fool also is looking at oh, I'm sorry, he's falling, but doesn't matter, because he's getting right up. And he's also looking at this issue of the Ace of Wands and of the King of Wands in the reverse here, and he's looking at this King of Wands in the reverse, and he's like, oh, I think now I get it. I don't need to do things all the time just to feel okay. I just need to do the things that feel also right, because the Fool is very also tuned into his intuition, and he's going where his heart leads him, and he's very unbiased at the same time. So beautiful. All right, so how do we experience ourselves? Ooh, Three of Swords. Well, that is a plot twist here, I want to say, because with the Three of Swords, we might have to deal with situations maybe from the past where we felt like we had to make head over heart decisions. And as I say that, I get a little lightheaded. Situations from the past where we maybe didn't do things out of concern that it's not the smart thing, maybe out of concern that it's not the right thing to do, even though our heart is pulling us that way. And that's very intuitive, the way I read it, but we might still, with the Fool here, be a little bit concerned about what drives us forward. Really, is it some old pain? Is it some old programming? Is it some old beliefs? Is it some old, I want to say more like hurtful little points that are still kind of healing within us, or that are still present within us, that drive us into achievement, or drive us into becoming somebody that we want to be seen as. Where is that coming from? Where is that identity coming from? Because it's a lot about achievements here. It's a lot about achieving with the King of Wands in the reverse and the Eight of Wands, and we might step into a new identity when it comes to, or we might break open a more confined construct of identity. And that's what the Fool is doing. He's really breaking open and opening himself up for all the possibilities. And he's not just like looking at his ego that might go a little overboard, like I have to have this, I have to do that, I have to be this, I have to be that, I want to be seen as that, I want to be perceived as that. He's free, he's more free. And what I think, and at the same time, there's still maybe some pain lingering, where it's like, well, or a realization that we might have moved into a certain identity because of old pains, of old trauma, or of things that have been hurtful that we kind of want to overcompensate for by achieving things. That's what I really see here. But it seems like the Fool is really freeing himself from this identity and freeing himself from this toxic ego, I want to say, that kind of wants to just exist for more the outside world, than anything else. Wow, this is deep. This is deep stuff. So what is the outside world saying? And I love that the Fool is already having his back to this position of the outside world. He's not so concerned about it, seems like. The Hierophant in the reverse. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, you might learn that some people just don't see the things the way you are seeing them, or they might not believe in the same things that you believe in. Maybe you want to do things on a more unconventional level, or they might think that they are unconventional, or people on the outside might be a little more unconventional and you want to do it on a conventional level. That could also be, but this is really about belief system and what we spiritually believe in. And feel like you're turning your back here, the Fool is turning your back here from people who just don't share the same belief system, or who give him also the feeling, I would say, more with the Fool. And we cannot forget this is two major arcana cards, so this is big stuff. Who give him the feeling that the way he's moving through the world is not right, in a sense, on a spiritual level. And yes, we of course want to turn our backs to that. These people will always be here. These people will always be here. This could be even fanatical, you know, religious, fundamental people, or people who have very, very strong beliefs that they want to kind of put onto people. This could be also the Hierophant in reverse, or people who want to be missionaries about their way of living and believing in religion or spirituality, or everything that is a little more connected to the divine. And maybe you want to free yourself from that. Maybe you want to free yourself also from a system that doesn't work for you. We also want to make sure that we're turning our backs here from gurus that operate for their own good and not for other people. So we are freeing ourselves also from, I think, confining belief systems that people want to put onto us. You know, we are defining our own way, our own world, our own imagination of how we want to live things. Wow, this is deep stuff. So the fears. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Ten of Swords also came out in the Leo reading. This is crazy. There's a lot of overlap. The Ten of Swords is really saying that in the fear position that we might have a hard time also cutting or making a cut within ourselves and maybe the outside world when it comes to how we strategize things, how we think about things, maybe a way of thinking, letting go of a way of thinking, of a pattern of thinking, of intellectualizing a problem or a situation. Maybe we are just having a hard time here, or there's a fear of letting go a certain way of thinking, and of also coming to somewhat of a dead end, of experiencing that there is no more step to go further within a certain way of seeing and perceiving and understanding the world or things in general, and that we might have hit just the end of the road and we have to kind of move direction or move into another direction. This is some fear of ending, of a definite ending. And that is very natural, of course, because that's somewhat scary. But it's more an ending of a way we think. The swords are about the mind and how we perceive things on a mind level, and how we intellectualize and how we analyze. And maybe we're just hitting a roadblock, or not even a roadblock, just a wall where it's like, okay, there's no way through the wall. We just have to kind of find another way around it. But this is at the same time a very freeing card. But it also means we cannot take parts of ourselves with us into this new adventure that the Fool is open to. The Page of Wands and the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. So this is a big, big moment for you, where the universe is really helping you to arrange a new direction where you can grow. This is a lot about growth and expansion. With the Page of Wands in the reverse as a key card, we are still, this is the whole lesson here, I think. How to work with your will. How to really define your passions, your will, your drive forward, and how to not get too, I want to say, rebellious or reactionary with that, but how to be able to master it, because we have King of Wands, Queen of Wands, and the Page of Wands in the reverse. So we want to make sure that we're learning more about developing our passions, developing our will, developing our sense of self that wants to grow, that wants to express itself and and that wants to also create life and create and move and be active when it comes to our own experiences. So this is a big moment of, I think, self-growth and of figuring out what is a healthy way of moving forward with my passions and with my drive and with my fire, and what is maybe something that is just triggered within me to maybe prove something, or to maybe heal something or compensate something that I haven't looked at yet, or compensate some pain, you know. And that is often with Leo, this drive force and this life force that we have is often a compensation, of course, but it can be conscious or it can be subconsciously driving us into situations that hinder our growth, or into identities. A lot about identity here. So yeah, we wanna open ourselves up to more possibilities of what we can actually be here with the Fool. And I think the universe is helping us very much so here with the Wheel of Fortune, that we can really step more and more into a version of ourselves that is really open for expanding and growth. Beautiful reading. So thank you so much for being here. Please check out the description box. Please like, subscribe, comment, and come back next time. You find all the information you need in the description box, as I said. And I'm excited that you found this reading. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.